James, it's December. It's the end of the year. That means that the holidays are coming up. Everyone gets some downtime to kind of decompress, get ready for 2020. And really, this is the senioritis portion of the year. Everyone's like, you're going to work, but at the same time, you don't care about work.
No, I'll be fresh to go in 2020. I will. But right now, I'm useless.
It's honestly kind of a shame that you're feeling useless right now, because when it comes to trailer reviews...
Yes.
It is not senioritis. This is finals time, baby. There are so many trailers that came out.
We can't be sleeping on episode 83.
No. I'm going to probably have dreams about this for the rest of my life. Because you know how that's such a common nightmare where you're about to go in for a final in college, but you haven't studied for it, and you're going to fail and ruin your life.
Or reality, not a nightmare.
Yeah, there is also reality, too. I feel like I'm going to have nightmares about this for the rest of my life of... Oh my God, there are 11 huge trailers that came out, and I haven't developed thoughts on a single one. And you know what?
What?
I'm going to fucking barrel on through. We're going to barrel on through, James. We're taking this final.
I'm ready to barrel. I did my studying. I did my work. Have you? That's the question.
I'm trying to wake myself up. You
can't haul your stuff without a trailer hitch. Trailer hitch.
Grab a seat, pour yourselves some whiskey neat. It's time to judge the shit out of these future releases by the movie trailers. We're trailer hits. This movie might totally suck, but the whiskey sure is going down fine. Yeah, we're trailer hits.
I'll be damned, I've been awoken by the power of rock and roll. We'd like to thank Danny Schmitz from Lost in a Name for that wake-up call. And this is Trailer Hitch. Hi, welcome. I'm Kevin.
Welcome. I'm James, everyone.
This is Trailer Hitch, in which we rate and review movie trailers. Mm-hmm. We rate them on a scale of need to see more, or never need to see. If James and I both like a trailer, we give them need to see ratings. Go see the movie, report back to you guys in a segment called Trailer in the Rear View, in which we review the trailer in retrospect, see how it set us up for the film, and the movie itself writ large as well. We have 11 really huge trailers to talk about. So not only do we have Black Widow, we also have a new James Bond trailer. Okay, that seems manageable. We also have a new Mulan trailer.
That's right. We did review one Mulan trailer, but we got a second one
here. The first one was a teaser. Yep. So this is going to be like our first serious go
review
at it. Okay, but that still seems manageable. We also have Wonder Woman 1984. All right, that's starting to feel like a lot. We also have Ghostbusters Afterlife. Okay, that would be a lot to cut. We also have Free Guy. We also have In the Heights. We also have Escape from Pretoria, Promising Young Woman, The Assistant, Togo.
You're just
Togo managed to just sneak in.
Yeah.
But Togo was in nonetheless. And that's a lot to cover. And so what you're going to be hearing in a little bit is going to be the debut of a new segment for us. Typically, we review trailers in the main drag, where we really give in-depth thoughts, go into editing choices, music choices, the whole shebang. Now, James and I have an antithesis to that, which is Hitchhikers, where we take multiple trailers like this, give ourselves 10 minutes to talk about all 10 or 11 of those trailers, and give you rapid-fire thoughts. And we considered doing that for this episode, but these are all big enough trailers where we want to dive in a little bit more in depth, but also, outside of Togo, what the fuck are you gonna cut? So
exactly. These are all things that people kind of care about, and I think we should do the justice to talk about all of them at a decent pace and not just rush through all of them. So what's our compromise here, Kevin?
The compromise
we have
is a new segment.
It's a new segment.
It's a new segment. It is called Cross Country.
And the name for that one goes to Kevin. And I do like coming up with the names.
It's our podcast. It's a collaborative effort.
That's true. I was very proud of them, though, because I liked it a lot. So good job. Good naming, Kevin.
Thank you. But again, thanks goes to you, too.
Oh, thank you.
Yes,
okay.
Yes, of course.
Enough of the patting on the back here. I think we should
We should
explain the segment.
We should talk about what is going to happen with this segment. So with Cross Country, James and I are giving ourselves 5 minutes apiece to talk about each trailer that I listed out for you guys. And James and I will go back and forth on it, go a little bit more in depth, but obviously keeping ourselves kind of compact.
We're going to rein ourselves in.
It's like a cross-country trip. You know, you make pit stops every once in a while. Maybe you get a snack from a gas station. Maybe you get some McDonald's. But you got to get back on that goddamn road, baby.
To that itinerary.
Yeah, exactly.
You have to.
We are going cross-country. We don't have the time to dilly-dally. Dilly-daddle?
Dilly-dally.
Dilly-dally. We don't even have the time for this. What are we doing?
Just move it on. Move it along.
So, even though we will be taking pit stops, we will be taking in the sights of this beautiful heartland that we are driving through.
That's right.
But that said, I'm also going to be the stern dad saying, we can't fucking stop for too long, though. We got to make it to California,
That's
baby.
Right. So we have a timer, and we will, if we're under 5 minutes, fine, we'll move on. It's great. But when that 5 minute hits... We are
moving on.
We are stopping. We are giving our review real quick. Just boom, boom. What did you think of it? And then moving on. And then the next 5 minutes starts. Now, that doesn't mean it'll be 5 minutes for you all the time, but it'll be close.
Yes.
Because we have some editing to do.
We do, yes. If we were to do this completely raw, you would hear a lot of me saying and like and mispronouncing a word and then pronouncing it correctly.
Yeah. A lot of that, like we just had.
Yeah. Even if I didn't keep it in, trust me, it was in there. So you will probably hear that being cut. Me going like, I'm clearly trying to articulate a thought. We will cut James burping.
A lot of unbecoming burps from the whiskey for me.
We will be cutting that. Yeah. So time-wise, unfortunately, you do just kind of have to take our words for it. But just know we are timing ourselves.
I will yell time when the 5 minutes is up. We'll give our reviews and we'll move on. That's it.
So we're giving ourselves 50 minutes max to talk about all 11 of these trailers. Now, you probably just did some quick math and you thought 50 minutes, 11 trailers, 5 minutes. That's more than 50 minutes, and you're goddamn right it is.
You're right it is.
That incentivizes us to keep things shorter. So any leftover time from this segment is going to go to us talking about In the Heights, which will be the last trailer.
It's the last one we're talking about. Yep. It's the most recent one, so it's fresh in people's minds. So any time left will go towards that trailer.
Now bear in mind, if James and I keep our verbosity in check, we might have 10 minutes to talk about In the Heights. We might have 15 minutes. We could also have 30 fucking seconds. However it works out, that's the amount of time we're getting for In the Heights. And if we go a minute over, James and I will both watch a Never Need to See movie.
A double Never Need to See movie.
Yes. Something that James and I both saw the trailer for, went, no thank you, salesman.
Hard pass, yeah.
We will have to watch that if we do not.
We've done it before, and we've been threatening to do it again, and here you guys go.
This is the threat. Let's see what ends up happening with it.
But first, I think we have some...
Ooh, yes. Okay,
mistakes before we get in the car.
Before we can travel cross country, we are going to have to repair our trailer. Yes, so we're going to have to do...
We need this thing to make it to the end.
Yes, we're going to be doing a segment called Trailer Repair. Right, so Trailer Repair is where James and I goofed. In a previous episode, we said something that wasn't true or...
we were misled into... And just, look, any mistakes can happen any which way or not. Doesn't matter what we made a mistake on. The important thing is that we correct it.
Absolutely, yes. Because at heart, goddammit, we're journalists, baby. We're critics. And we gotta keep the truth.
It's a mixture of something in there, I guess.
The truth is always in there. And so I guess our first trailer repair is me this episode saying that we're journalists. We're not. We're just kind of doing this for fun. We're sorry about that.
I speak my truth, Kevin.
There you go. There you go. Yeah, and that's all we should be aiming
Unfortunately,
for.
My truth happens to be just factually incorrect sometimes, and that's what we're here for.
And we will be going back to the last episode to correct something. James and I were talking about the trailer for Antebellum.
Yep.
I had mentioned telegrams.
Oh, right. Yes.
I'm not going to say who, because it's our podcast. Your mistakes are my mistakes, my mistakes are your mistakes, of course.
It was me.
Yeah.
Okay. James made the mistake here.
Noted that telegrams were not a thing in the Civil War era, and we were contacted by a listener. Shout out to this humble person. I didn't ask him if I could name them, so I'm just not gonna. We were told that no, telegrams did absolutely exist in the Civil War era. And we would just like to apologize for not being as up to snuff on our 1800s methods of communication.
That's very big of you to say we when you definitely made a joke about using telegrams, which was factually correct and funny. And I said, no, Kevin, you're wrong. I have a better joke. And it wasn't better.
Well, I really was just like, I don't know, what's an old form of communications? Telegrams, I guess? And went with that. I had no idea how long the telegram had been around for.
But you would have been right.
And I didn't Wikipedia it.
Yeah.
I didn't Wikipedia it. And that's what we're apologizing for. Now, to make up for this, James and I talked about reviewing a trailer for Ken Burns' The Civil War. And this way, you know, we could be up to date on all of our Civil War history jokes. That said, I did look it up. There is not a trailer for Ken Burns' The Civil War. It's just a 4-minute long clip. And so, unfortunately, we can't do that, so all of our 1880s material will be factually inaccurate. Up to and including, I don't even know if the Civil War was in the 1880s. Maybe it was the 1860s, maybe the 1870s.
See, it's safer
if
just...
Ken Burns had a trailer, we would know.
It's safer just to say the 1800s. Late 1800s. That's what I always do.
Oh, God, it could be mid, though. I don't even know. But that's not the only apology we have to make.
That's
we do also have to go back to our Clio Awards episode. Now, the Clio Awards... Mm-hmm. James and I went through category by category. We made our picks and we're like, hey, Clio Awards Committee, see how much work and thought that we put into this. Clearly, we should be a part of your board. And there might be a reason why they haven't returned our calls, James.
Just like the Golden Trailers haven't returned our calls.
Yeah, with the Clios, I think it's a bit more apparent. Once they announced the winner for the Clios, we came to find that we were giving awards to action and adventure and comedy trailer and foreign and
we were voting for a winner for all these categories.
Yeah, that's not how that show works.
That's not how they do it.
No, they just pick like 2 winners from that set and are like, good job, guys, and
that's the show.
Yeah, they give like their best of show and then like, you know, 2nd place, 3rd place, 4th place, and then there's like a couple of trailers where they're like, I guess you showed up. And that's how they operate.
Participation trophies.
So, yes, exactly. We were not aware of that and probably would have, I don't know, done something a little bit differently. So Clios, we apologize. That's all we're getting at.
Wholeheartedly.
Yes, absolutely. And lastly, the last trailer we'd like repair, we realized we haven't done this segment in a while. And we've probably goofed since the last time we did that. So we would just generally like to apologize for not apologizing more.
And here we are.
We're
going to make it a regular thing.
Yeah.
As long as we keep making mistakes, which might not ever happen again. Who knows? But we have a cross-country trip to go on, Kevin.
We do. The trailer has been repaired. All systems are go. The oil has been changed. The tires are new and fresh.
The open road is a calling.
Let's get on that road.
Yeah.
All right. And we're going to be making our first pit stop. So we're going to start off with Black Widow.
Yep.
The way this is going to work, folks, I'm going to give you a little synopsis, and then we're just going to get into the review. So Black Widow. The Avenger is avenging her character's kind of anticlimactic death with a film of her own, taking on something even stronger than a cliff, her past. So this is Black Widow.
That was good.
James, hit me with it. What are you thinking?
Well, this is a Marvel movie, and they've been telling us we're going to get a solo Black Widow film for a very long time now. And then DC came and was like, I mean, we'll take a shot at it if you guys aren't ready yet. And they did with Wonder Woman.
Sure. Oh, like a female-led.
Yes. Yeah. And so now here we are. Mm-hmm. They finally killed her off. Spoilers for Avengers Endgame or Infinity War? Endgame.
Yeah.
And now here we are with it being like, well, it's in the past though, so you know everything's gonna be okay. Okay, great. The trailer. Let's dive into it. I think it is fine overall. I think it's good music. We get hit with like some good music right away. It's not like a theme, but it's the style of the music is really interesting and it like fits really well. So I liked that a lot. I thought the pacing of the jokes were not great.
No.
There was a couple...
I know people were kind of upset at Fat Thor because it was fat shaming, and apparently Marvel looked at all of those think pieces and went, fuck you. We're doubling down on it. We're ending this trailer with a fat joke.
Yeah, we're just going to call America's sweetheart, David Harbour, too fat to fit in his suit.
Yes.
But again, like, so that's supposed to play as a joke, and it just kind of goes flat.
Regardless of the fat shaming or not, the joke just doesn't
it's flat. And, like, there was a moment, too, where Scarlett Johansson has this, like, small quick action scene with another woman, and then it's like there's this reveal. It's like, nice to talk to you too, sister. And it's like that's supposed to be like a oh shit moment, and it just, again, it fell flat.
Well, and it's because we don't really know anything about Black Widow throughout the series.
Correct.
It's like the most we get out of her is in Age of Ultron.
Avengers Age of Ultron.
Yeah, where we have a hallucinatory flashback to her training. And I remember seeing Age of Ultron and going, I want to see that movie. That looks really great. And I think for me, from a broader perspective, something that's hard too is that's what I said back in 2014 or whatever.
Sure.
And we're 5 years and, I don't know, 70 Marvel movies down the line now, up to and including one where they killed this character off.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know, man, after Endgame, I think I might kind of dip out of this because I'm just not feeling the same amount of excitement for him anymore.
So did this bring you back into the fold?
No.
Yeah, I feel like...
It's more so just... Like, this looks perfectly fine. I think if I knew more about her past, them invoking it from, like, a direct, this is the shit we made you do back in the day... that probably would have gotten me a little bit more interested in her character and what she'll be going throughout this film.
Yeah.
How her sister and Pops, played by David Harbour, are going to factor into this. The fact she has a Pops regardless, because the impression I got from Age of Ultron was she was an orphan.
Yeah, I mean, it might be more of just a mentor role.
Could be.
Yeah, and the only other thing I wanted to say real quick is at the end, they save, like, this skydiving scene moment. Mm-hmm. And I'm just like, I'm kind of over skydiving scene stuff since Godzilla's, like, Halo jump.
Yeah, that set the bar.
You did it.
Honestly,
like,
high.
It's real good.
And they kept falling, and it was still good the entire time. Absolutely,
and, like, Mission Impossible 6 did a pretty decent
Fallout has
one.
A pretty rad one, yeah.
But, so it's like, I've seen better versions of this already, so that doesn't do anything for me. Mm-hmm. And they ended with that, and I'm like, it didn't do much for me there.
Yeah.
So, I like the music. I want to see a good Black Widow movie. I don't know if this is it, though, based on the trailer. I think it's fine.
It's, even though we've had the character for a while, this feels like an origin story, because we're going back to her roots. And it's like, no, we're beyond that with this character. You gotta just show me her kicking ass forthright. And I got very little of that in this trailer. Very little of that, I'm still interested, though. How are we doing on time?
We got 20 seconds left.
Fuck me. I'm going to go with a need to see more.
I'm going to go with a need to see more as well.
All right,
need to see more.
time.
Pause. Got 17 seconds, so mark that down, Kevin.
17 seconds.
If everything else goes according to plan, that 17 seconds will go towards In the Heights.
Yeah, indeed. All right, cool. Next up, Togo. Willem Dafoe is a dog sledder who thinks this mangy mutt ain't up to snuff. But after Togo jumps through some glass like he's a goddamn Sergio Leone character, Dafoe and Togo travel 600 miles to pick up some medicine. To go. All right.
Oh, boo.
I loved it.
No, that was really great. I love that. All right, what
are you thinking?
Okay, dog sledding stuff?
Yes.
I don't know much about it. I know everyone loved Bolto, the animated dog sled movie.
Oh, yeah.
It wasn't
that
like...
is a thing.
I don't know. It wasn't like an Iditarod race. It was more like a race to find penicillin, right? Or something like that?
Yeah. The story they're portraying is actually the precursor to the Iditarod. Like, the fact that this guy was able to go do this run was like, this is fucking possible. Hey, what if we made other people do it just for fun? This is the precursor to the Iditarod.
Wow, I didn't know that. And so it is interesting, because for a while I was just like, they're just like up in the cold, and these dog sleds are really cute, and dog sled stuff. It wasn't until later that the kids were starting to get sick in the trailer that I went, this is a period piece. This isn't taking place right now, which was kind of wild that I couldn't pick up on that early on.
And I had the exact same reaction as soon as I saw the kids with that background knowledge. I went, oh, fuck, it's this story.
Yeah.
So,
So
feel you, man.
That was very interesting. I think Willem Dafoe is like really charming in this.
He is, yeah. I am just kind of conditioned because I watch all my Indian foreign bullshit where he's in.
He's never been in one of those, has he?
He's in so many Lars von Trier movies, man. And so the second I saw Dogs and heard Willem Dafoe's voiceover, I was like, oh God, someone's gonna die. But then I looked down on YouTube and saw Disney Plus, and I went, okay, cool. It's fine. It's fine.
Don't be
cute.
Don't be so sure. I mean, this dog might be biting.
And
the
dust,
the only thing I like wanted to say for sure about this is that I watched this trailer one time and I said Jenny will not watch this movie.
Oh, because dogs will die.
Anything that looks like an emotional journey between human and dog, she's like, nope. The dog will die at the end, and I will cry too hard.
And bear in mind, this is Jenny, our bad movie and social media correspondent.
So she knows a thing or two about dogs and movies.
Yeah.
So
I want to get in there and just say my biggest note on this is Rudolph the Black-Nosed Reindeer. Because it is a story about a dog where everyone looks at him and is like, he's fucking worthless on a sleigh. And then he's like, oh, wait, no, he is good. He just has to be at the front of the pack. And now, all of a sudden, he saves the day.
Yeah.
This is Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
And Willem Dafoe is Santa bringing the greatest gift of all.
Medicine.
Yeah. Not laughter. Laughter is the best medicine.
Oh, there you go. Okay, I'm glad we worked that out.
So he's bringing laughter to the children instead of penicillin. Anywho, that's all I got for this one. Do you want to rate it?
Walk up to the kids. Knock, knock. I'm dying. Give me medicine.
My insides hurt. Well, your sides are going to be splitting in a second.
All right. But no, I mean, overall, it seems fine, but just given that this is based on historical events, we wouldn't be talking about it if the dogs fucking died and they didn't get the medicine. So you kind of know how this is going to go. That does kind of hold me back a bit. I will say overall, need to see more just because Willem Dafoe does look solid in this, and it is an interesting story to tackle, but I think as straight-faced as this, it's not doing much.
I think if I'm being honest, this is a never need to see it for me, just because I'm just like, I'm so uninterested in the journey. I like the Willem Dafoe and dog moments.
Sure.
But when it comes to like the plot and it getting super serious and it's a race against time and blah blah blah, I was just like, I was just kind of looking forward to just like a cute human dog movie.
Oh, that is fair. That it is definitely kind of mixing these two pretty disparate stories of cute dogs, and also if we don't get back in 3 days, everyone will die. Fair enough, but so I need to see more. But in a time,
15 seconds.
Oh wow, Jesus.
So I felt like we were talking about that one much faster, but it turns out we weren't.
No, we were not. Okay, cool. So 15 plus 17, do some rough math, and all right. Well, based on these calculations, man, we have no time to die. Oh boy, I never finished Spectres. So, James Bond. He's got a past and a present and presumably a future, or does he? I'm actually not sure. So anyway, this is No Time to Die.
Yeah.
Big thing about this, it's the last Daniel Craig James Bond movie. All right, James, go.
Yeah, okay. I mean, you stole one of my first things. It wasn't until Christoph Waltz showed up that I remembered I never finished Spectre.
Right.
And then I'm like, what happened to his face? It's like, oh man, that's right.
Presumably something at the end of Spectre is what happened to his face.
See, like the reason I love James Bond movies is because they're usually all standalone. Mm-hmm. And what I've disliked about these Daniel Craig movies is they all sort of like hinge on the previous ones of the Daniel Craig movies. Skyfall may be the one that least hinges on the others, but again, it just looks like, oh look, we're hanging on the previous movie again. Like this is a direct sequel to that. I just don't know how I feel about that. But the music gets me every time in James Bond. Sure. And every time I think I'm like, I'm just not that into James Bond anymore. And then I hear that music kick in and I'm just like, oh God, I'm so excited to see more James Bond stunts set to that music.
That said, man, I feel like the editing in this trailer just kind of felt off to me in some ways. I think a big thing is this trailer plays more as a sizzle reel than it does as this is the story that's going on in this trailer, which I know it's like that's just what trailers are. But I think it kind of gets awkward where we start at the beginning with a car chase And then the big stunt that ends that cold open, in quotes, is James Bond not in a car, skydiving off of a bridge.
Yeah, holding onto a rope. And like
yeah,
swinging,
and I'm like, wait, what's going on with that car thing in the beginning? It definitely isn't doing a, here is what you get for a story in this trailer.
No, I know you don't.
Here are big moments.
Yeah, I know you don't have to do, edit things linearly in trailers. Yeah. Obviously,
Agreed.
You can't, actually. Mm-hmm. Like, you want to sell something the best you can, so that means going out of order, out of context.
Sure.
This felt very not in order, though. And I was very confused. They had, like, this oh shit moment later when he, like, sees the woman. And it's supposed to be this moment like they haven't seen each other in years. Yeah. But we already saw them in the car together earlier in the trailer. Yeah. So like that oh shit moment doesn't work at all.
Yeah, it definitely loses some of its potency.
Yeah. There's not much in this. The music is all I got.
Yeah, man.
Like in the car stunts look okay. Yeah. But I'm really disappointed, I think, in this.
Again, because it plays as a sizzle reel. And so it's like, I'm totally cool with what's going on with the other 00 agent that's in this. But at the same time, I'm like, what's her connection to all of this? And it's like, stay in your lane,
she was at least brought some life to the trailer, or just some variation of, like, different attitude and stuff.
Yeah,
I did like her.
That is definitely appreciated, but, like, how she's going to fit into the overall piece, I am entirely unsure of. Honestly, like, I'm not completely following, like, what the crux of this is going to be.
Oh, no, not at all.
I understand there's big weapons and stuff. Isn't that every James Bond movie, though?
Well, it's like, weapons have evolved to a thing that, like, we are having a hard time stopping. Mm-hmm. It's like, okay, sure.
There's also a lot of dead air in this trailer. Kim with Q, I felt like the rhythm in that section was a little off. It's like, we're holding on Q reacting to James Bond basically being like, oh, surprised to see me. Yeah. But Q's moment is so small. It's more or less just this, like, quick flick of his eyes. And that's just kind of it. Yeah. And, that just wasn't as impactful to me. And overall, man, I feel the exact same way. I was not that crazy about this. And I wanted to be, because it's Daniel Craig's last movie. Phoebe Waller-Bridges is a really good writer. I'm excited to see what she will do with this.
Time!
Oh, no.
That's it. You failed. Miserable.
Okay, well, keep going with the time, so that way we know how much longer we have.
Yeah. But
so I'll just say, as of right now, based on this, never need to see.
I'm also at a never need to see, which I never thought I'd say it for a James Bond movie. Right. And especially because I like Daniel Craig in the role. I need to see a better trailer than this. Yeah. And I hope I will. I hope I will.
Okay, so time.
So we went 18 seconds over on this one.
All right. I am so sorry, Lin-Manuel Miranda.
We'll make it up.
We're going to need something to assist us, so let's get on into the assistant. Sorry, I know that transition is half-assed, but we don't have the time.
We don't have the time.
The assistant. Based on Weinstein's case, an entry-level assistant takes the dehumanizing nature of the entertainment industry, but realizes she can't take her boss being a deplorable person. So, James, hit me with it. What are you thinking?
Well, right away, I think this trailer hooks anyone that has ever worked an entry-level job at, like, a company. Mm-hmm. So that's great. Like, you gotta hook a wider... You gotta hook just, like, a general wide demographic.
True.
And then you can go in a lot of different directions from then.
Yeah.
And I think they do go in a lot of crazy wide directions from there on. Mm-hmm. You know, they throw a curveball in, especially with the title cards of saying this is going to be like a sinister thriller angle. And, like, a mystery, maybe, that looks, like, really enticing.
I'm sure you and I can both say, working in the entertainment industry, hopefully it's not all of these things, but we have seen assistants being treated like that.
Of course,
before.
Yeah, all
whether
the time.
That was us or whether that was seeing other assistants being treated like that.
Yeah.
So obviously we connect with it a lot just because this is the industry we're working in. And bear in mind, just because we want to also be polite too, like, the industry is also, like, a lot of fun too. And there are really great things that happen here. And there are people who are not nearly as shitty as Weinstein. So let's get into the crux of it.
Absolutely.
I really liked the creative choice of never showing him in the trailer and kind of having that be the elephant in the room.
I'm sorry. Is this based on actually the Harvey Weinstein thing?
I think that's
I thought this was just inspired by. Is that something you learned?
Oh boy, I think
we don't have to go down that road because we don't have the time, Kevin.
We don't have the time. We don't have the time. I
was,
may have spoken out of turn, but I, at the very least, inspired by.
I always assumed it was inspired by, and again, I do like how they don't show whoever the boss is.
Yeah,
I like that. Like the Jaws effect from Jaws.
It's kind of Jaws, but
don't show the big bad villain yet.
Yeah, and it's also kind of like further dehumanizes him and dehumanizes the connection between this assistant to the boss too. Yeah. Like if we never see this person and can never form a connection, that only makes the weird shit that's going on that we later come to find is genuinely deplorable that much stronger.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
Then her copying the headshots and stuff is now like, I'm basically making a menu for him.
Yeah.
How fucked that is.
That was so messed up. Yeah. And I love how in the trailer they don't have to spell it out. Mm-hmm. They don't have to like say an exposition in words and stuff. It's just her making photocopies.
Oh yeah. Don't sit on that couch. I wouldn't if I were you. Her. Yeah.
Ugh,
stuff
gross.
like that.
It didn't blow me away, but it hooked me so strongly, and then it was stylized really well after that this is a need to see it for me. Albeit maybe a lower need to see it, but need to see it nonetheless.
Yeah. I love the bookend structure of the starting with the guy who she's making the HR complaint
Oh, yeah,
to,
the HR
and then the
guy
guy being like, well, we're not going to be doing anything about this. It does such a good job, too, just within the trailer of a woman going and meeting with someone who's, like, signing away these NDAs, who's like, should I have a lawyer present for this? And him looking at her and saying, do you have a lawyer?
Yeah.
And it just further shows how this was able to go on for as long as it did. There's really powerful stuff in here. I'm super interested in my man. It's a need to see
double
for me
need
as well.
Two double needs to see, and we're going to pause. We got 30 seconds. See, I told you we'd make this up.
We are doing it. Good. All right, plus 30 seconds, my man.
34 seconds.
Oh, 34?
Yeah, 34.
Oh,
I don't want to jip any amount of time.
Man, when it comes to Lin-Manuel Miranda, we want to give him as much goddamn time as possible. I'm glad you gave me those 4. That brings us up to 48 seconds for that. All right. Now, I'm going to make a man out of you, James. Because we're going to be talking about Mulan.
Let's do it.
So, Mulan. To save her village, Mulan subs in for her old-ass dad to fight against invaders, disguised as a man to do so. It's a more realistic take on the Disney property, which means no talking dragon, but inexplicably, a lady that turns into a fucking hawk. So, this is Mulan. James, what are you feeling?
Well, I just want to start with saying, the first time we saw the teaser, my biggest complaints were how it didn't embrace the silly, the goofy of like Mushu, the talking dragon, the talking ancestors.
Oh boy, so you're probably not crazy about this one. Go on.
I was just gonna say, actually, inexplicably, I like this now.
Oh, good.
Shrug emoji. That's all I got. I'm like, I watched this. It hit on all the right beats for me, and all of a sudden, I'm like, you know what? If I want silly, I'll go watch the 1998 Mulan, which is still amazing.
I think that's fair. Yeah,
and this one will live in its own world, and that world looks great. So inexplicably, I love this now, and I'm really excited about it. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So, like, I know you said inexplicably. Yeah. Is there anything you can pinpoint?
I did, so I did appreciate the magic stuff with the villain that we saw. So that it's not just going, like, super just historic. That, I think I embraced how they are leaning into some like magical elements.
Yeah, and sort of like myths.
And how her dad talked about, like, I think it was a phoenix. Like a phoenix being like a family symbol for them. They talk about ancestors. Like all that stuff is important to me in the story of Mulan. And just, it was heartbreaking seeing the dad step up and just being like, I'm gonna own up. I'm gonna do my role, do my duty.
I'm blessed with 2 daughters.
And when he's like, you don't have any sons, he doesn't say no. He says, fuck you. I'm blessed with 2 daughters.
Yeah.
And they're awesome. That got me. Embraced me in a warm hug. I liked all the training stuff. I liked this quite a lot.
Awesome,
so,
man.
There you go.
I'm happy you did. I am a little bit more mixed on this, I suppose. And in terms of why, I think you make a really strong point, man. Because, yeah, if you want it to be a bit more comedy and a bit more lighthearted, you're absolutely right. You can always go to the old movie. It's probably on Disney fucking Plus.
I promise you it is.
There you go. And you can always watch that. And so them wanting to take it in a new direction, I think is admirable.
Yeah.
And I do applaud that. For this specifically, I think because we're going into a little bit more realism, it is going to be interesting to see how or if they accommodate for the fact that Mulan just always happens to vanish every time there's a fight that's happening somewhere, or if it is more so the dad is just kind of like, you know, when you do put your hair up, you kind of look like you could probably pass, like, or if the family is in on it versus how it is in Mulan, where she's lying to
Have you not
everyone.
seen the cartoon?
A long time
Okay,
ago.
there is a little... They cover that.
Okay.
They cover your concerns in the cartoon anyway.
Okay.
And it's clear when she disappears that the family is... And she steals her dad's sword and his armor.
Oh, sure.
It's clear to them. And they're not going to tell anyone because that would essentially mean, like, the end of her. They would, like, punish her then for coming to war as a woman. So her family keeps it under wraps and then just prays for her safety.
Oh,
yeah, that's all. Sweet. That's all it is. So they cover it, and I think that's probably the direction they'll go.
I think it would be kind of cool to see that in the trailer.
A trailer. I totally agree. I think the family stuff is the strongest stuff.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely, man. Yeah, the dad like coming up and being like, "Don't worry, I got this," and then immediately, whoop, like flopping down onto the ground and
then
see how much
practicing
that
with his
kills
sword,
Mulan.
and he's just like shaking.
Yeah.
It's so good, man.
And again, we called it out in the teaser too. I really liked her getting the makeup done. They're literally making her up to be someone she's not.
Yep.
I think there is a lot of good stuff in here, but because we're going into realism, I do have to ask those really shitty nitpicky questions now because it is posited as realism.
It is, yeah.
So, yeah, I'm at a need to see more.
And I'm at a need to see with this one now,
Okay.
finally. Pause. 7 seconds. and to cut it off. I want to talk about In the Heights, Kevin.
I do too. I do too. And at the moment, my man, we have a grand total of 55 seconds to talk about In the Heights.
Okay. Well, okay.
All right. So, I don't know, man. Like, we are making decent steps to this. I would say it's pretty promising.
Okay.
As such, let's get even more promising with a promising young woman.
Well done.
Oh, thank you. Promising young woman. A PYW lets men take her home while playing drunk and notes all the dudes who try to take advantage of her. She decides to enact revenge when her attempts to have anyone do something about that are met with shrugs.
Yeah.
And James, hit us.
Okay, cool. Well, you said it all in the synopsis. I mean, that is what the movie's about. That's what this trailer sells anyway.
Yep. I would say darkly comedic tone, by the way.
Yeah, well, there's nothing I really laughed at, but the
satirical.
Very satirical. It's definitely doesn't take itself too seriously, and the visual style is very like bubblegum and neon at times, and just very colorful.
Sure. Very stylish. Yes.
Very stylish. I loved the Britney Spears Toxic.
Yeah,
music.
but they do it as an orchestral arrangement.
It works.
Thought it was awesome.
Wonderfully.
Yeah.
So good. And then the other thing I really, really liked in this is how the trailer keeps it a mystery what she's actually doing to these men, or doing with these men.
Well, we
can
we have the one line where she is asked, "What are you planning to do?" and she just coyly says, "I don't know yet."
Yeah, and like we can assume the worst, which is murder.
Sure.
But that being left to the imagination, though, adds a lot of spice to it. And I think it's really interesting that it's like, well, my imagination is going to murder, but it could be so much worse than murder, I guess,
There's an interesting implication where she opens up the medical booklet, or not booklet.
Oh, at the end.
Yeah, where
she's like
has
dressed as a nurse or a doctor.
Yes, because she was going to be a doctor,
Yep.
and the implication you get in this trailer is this is a survivor of sexual assault. The fact that her university did nothing about her crime sends her spiraling. She is now no longer a promising young woman, in quotes. But yeah, she dresses up as a doctor to go to this party where some of these dudes are at. And we see her open up.
Just a carrying case.
Yeah, carrying case. And you see her have
utensils.
Instruments.
Yeah.
Yes.
Probably not a stethoscope.
No. And so, yeah, there is some implication as to there is going to be something pretty sinister going on here. And yeah, it's a matter of coin flipping for me at this point. It's either leaving it up to the imagination and that being neat, or that means that the actual revenge portion of this isn't going to happen until the last 20 minutes of the movie. And I'll be curious to see which one it is.
Okay.
Just because, obviously, if you listened last week, James and I have been duped by a trailer before.
Oh, yeah. More than once.
Yes. There is also the implication that, like, now that just means that the big cathartic act doesn't happen until the end, and we don't really see her enact explicit revenge until the end.
Those are all possibilities.
Yeah.
I haven't really dove into that as much. I enjoyed the ride of this specific trailer.
Yeah, and I do too.
Of not telling us what she's doing and keeping that a mystery.
And bear in mind, like, it's the asterisk I'm throwing up isn't a huge one. It's just
I didn't get that
something to keep in mind.
Yeah, I didn't get that vibe from you, but for me, it just really didn't bother me so much, or I liked the mystery so much that this is a need to see it for me. I liked everything in this, really. So
I think that this does have a ton of promise, though there is that asterisk there. I'm also pretty bewitched by this too, so I'm gonna say need to see.
Double need to see. Pause. We'll clink, but we paused it before the clink because the clink doesn't count. 12 seconds. Add it.
All right, you got it. You got it. Alright, plus 12, what do we got for time? Now we, my man, are at... Oh, we're at over a minute now. We can talk about In the Heights for a minute 7.
I'd like to get to at least 3, but we'll see.
Well, we'll see, because next, we have to go back in time, my man, to 1984. This is specifically Wonder Woman 1984. Remember how Joker wasn't influenced by a Marvel movie, and whether or not you thought it worked, we could agree that was kind of refreshing? Anyway, here's DC's Thor Ragnarok, which I know sounds pejorative. I will say I do really enjoy the style of this trailer.
Yeah.
I don't know about you, James, but from a story perspective, how Chris Pine gets there, who her villain or who the antagonist of this is, I don't really know what's going on. How about you?
Well, no, it definitely plays as completely ambiguous at this point, and it's definitely supposed to. It's just leading us down into this 1984 world, and like you said, I agree, that works for me. The whole aesthetic, the music, the 80s graphics, all of that really works for me in where this world, this movie lives. I love the scene between Wonder Woman and Kristen Wiig at the beginning.
I'm so sorry, man. I just realized Thor Ragnarok. No. With the 90s bait with Captain Marvel. That's what they're emulating now.
Oh, sure. Yeah, okay, that's cool. But, I mean, the first Wonder Woman was emulating Captain America, the first Avenger, so... Yeah. Hey, man, it's, repeating...
It's DC, for better or for worse.
It's flattery, right?
I guess.
But, look, yes, it doesn't dive into what these villains are or how Steve Trevor gets back or what the point of this movie is. It's really just selling you on the style.
Yeah.
I do like the style. She rides lightning with a lasso.
Oh, okay. All right. So I'm going to get into some super dorky shit, and I'll make it quick. She rides the lightning. There's a Metallica album called Ride the Lightning, which came out, I shit you not, in 1984.
Well,
they are going hard on their 1984
So that's
shit,
what
man.
I wanted to say. I'm like, okay, you know what? The effects, they're not really blowing me away in this. But that's fine, because I think if you can't blow me away with effects, at least blow me away with, like, the audacity of what is happening. And, like, throwing a lasso around lightning. From one lightning bolt to the next lightning bolt.
It's rad.
And then that gold suit she has on is rad. Like, everything about this screamed rad. And I just couldn't help but love it, even though... It's so faulted because I don't know anything else about this movie other than the style and how rad it is. Yeah. I think it's so rad, though. It's great.
The stuff that they're finding here, again, she rides the lightning, is fun enough where I am still kind of
Pedro Pascal looks so goofy and, like, cheesy, but, like, 80s businessy in it. It's awesome. Like, I love that. I love the alternate of she was a fish out of water in the first one and Steve Trevor was kind of, like, helping her acclimate, and now it's reverse, and she's helping him acclimate to the 80s. Like, I liked that reverse anyway.
I do like that. The art gag at the end is kind of fun.
Yeah, it's a nice gag.
Yeah, it's pleasant.
Yeah.
But that said, it is something where I would like to get a trailer that has a little bit more of the content behind that style and of itself.
I totally understand.
And specifically because, again, Chris Pine is how the fuck he gets to the 80s as the age he's at.
Yeah.
There's just like a lot of questions that they're swirling around, but I'm interested in hearing those. So this is a pretty emphatic need to see more from me.
Yeah, this one, it's skates by on its style for me, and it's a need to see it. I'm just like, it's rad. It looks rad. I want it. So
Tubular
pause, 8 seconds.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah, man, we have to escape from our verbosity. So let's escape from Pretoria. The white Nelson Mandela, I'm not joking, the movie calls him that, has to escape from prison.
Okay.
Do you remember that?
No.
Oh, yeah, no, that's in there, man. It's fucked. All right, so he has to escape from prison, mostly by staring at people, having other people plan the escape for him, and fucking up picking a lock. So that is Escape from Pretoria. James, what's going on?
I don't know, because I couldn't understand anyone talking.
Oh, really?
It was so hard to understand what people were saying in it, with a mixture of the accents, but also...
Which I assume is South African? I'm not sure. Maybe,
but it was a mixture of the accents mixed with just... I don't think the audio was, like...
mixed
super well. Okay. And so when you said that line, I'm like, did it happen in the first minute? Because I couldn't understand anything in the first minute.
In the first minute.
When they got to like the key part, I started following things better.
Sure.
So from then on, I was like,
because at that point it is a little bit more visual story.
And I like a good prison escape movie, but
totally.
But all the setup, I was just kind of getting a little lost with. And then once the key aspect came in, like you said, the visual storytelling of it, I was going off of that the rest of the way, and that was good. Like, they had like this pulley system with the key. When they carved the key out of wood, and then they like slid it into the lock using like ropes and string and stuff. And like you said, Daniel Radcliffe ruins it by breaking the key in the lock.
Yeah,
it's okay.
I definitely think it's okay. The prison escape thing is the thing that I'm gravitating the most to.
Of course, because prison escapes are great in movies.
Really have any fucking basis for what's going on with the white Nelson Mandela here, man?
No, well, it's making a political statement, I guess. Movie?
Daniel Radcliffe is married to a black woman. And
I forgot about that part of the trailer.
I presume that has something to do with it. How you can make the fucking connection to Nelson Mandela over this is a stretch to me.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm like, okay, well, maybe the trailer doesn't really go into that. Who is this guy? And he doesn't really fucking talk all that much.
No, he doesn't. I got to a certain point in the trailer where I'm like, he might not. Is he a mute? Ooh, that's interesting. And then he opened his mouth, and I'm like, oh no, he just doesn't talk much in this trailer, I guess.
Yes,
so
yeah.
This is, I don't know. This didn't really do it for me.
Yeah, I was kind of having a hard time gravitating toward this.
Yeah, it visually looks okay.
Sure.
But it didn't.
Daniel Radcliffe looks like John Lennon. I guess that's something.
Sure. Yeah. It's a never need to see it for me.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of anything else I can really give this outside of, I think the tension in the lockpicking scene is definitely well handled, but outside of that, yeah, there just isn't that much there for me right now. Basically, it was just like, oh, we're going to use why he's in prison as just window dressing for you to get to root for him. But because there's so little about his character, it kind of felt like it was trying to sweep under the rug that, like, he's not really doing all that much.
Of course, yeah.
Especially because other people are planning the escape, too. And even though it sets up the stakes really well, I like the, if you're lucky, you'll get 25 years, but more likely than not, they'll just shoot you if they find out you're doing this.
Mm-hmm.
The stakes are well set up. There's the prison escape aspect, I think, is cool, but I could just watch Brubaker again. So as of right now, this is also a never need to see.
Or The Great Escape, but that's just...
There's that Escape from Alcatraz.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, for the Clint Eastwood, baby.
Double never need to sees. Pause. 1 minute.
Oh my God.
And 1 second. Woo! I'm not going to skip you on the seconds here, Kevin. So we are adding a full minute and 1 second to our In the Heights review.
Oh my God, that's right. Okay, well, next, my man, we are going to talk about the afterlife. All right, so this is Ghostbusters Afterlife. Here is the Yeah, you have to start the time.
Sorry.
Don't try and give Lin-Manuel more time than... Oh, no, keep it
No,
going.
I paused it.
I have to yell at you for not being on top of this. All right, so Ghostbusters Afterlife, here's the official press release that we got from Sony. Oh, you don't think the reboot was funny? Fine. The reboot won't be funny at all. And you nerds like Stranger Things, right? There! Now there's a bunch of kids. Give us all your fucking money.
That doesn't sound like official released synopsis, Kevin.
I'll forward you the email, man.
All right,
All right, go for it.
I'm going to say right off the bat, and I'm glad you went first, I hear the Stranger Things complaint, like, a lot, and I think it's kind of a lazy thing, just when something has kids in it, and there happens to be, like, supernatural things.
I'm not.
It's not even. That's not even a period piece. It takes place
I'm not grading the movie on the "this reminds me of Stranger Things" curve.
Sure,
but it is kids that are dealing with some supernatural event, and there's fucking corn everywhere. Like, we can give it some credit.
So is Super 8, and that came before Stranger Things. So should we be saying, like, oh, you're doing the Super 8 thing? No.
Kinda.
No. Anyway,
hey, Super 8 and Stranger Things are both influenced by Amblin Entertainment.
Of course,
stuff,
and, like,
so.
that's okay. But just to, like, say it's like, oh, you're just banging on that Stranger Things money drum. The money drum.
Money drum, sure,
money
sure.
drum.
Yeah, I think it's in a snare.
Let's talk about Ghostbusters, actually.
Sure.
So we're set up with a bunch of kids, move to this rural farm town, and they don't want to be there, obviously, but their grandfather left them this house, and it has a bunch of secrets in it. Guess what? Their grandfather was Egon, one of the original Ghostbusters, Harold Ramis. You know this because of the mold and funguses he's collecting in the basement.
There's that, and also his granddaughter looks a shitload like him.
Yeah. So, and then really the trailer is just them finding this stuff and playing with it.
Yeah.
And you know what? It's charming as hell. And them taking the Ecto-1 through a joyride through a cornfield and just, like, zapping stuff along the way. I'm sure they're aiming at a ghost, but in the trailer...
when they're in the town, man, like, there is an actual ghost they're shooting at. They're shooting at, fuck me,
Slimer. Yeah. So... I don't know. I just thought this was a lot of fun, but you are correct. There isn't much humor here. Like, the Stranger Things actor, Wolfgang Puck.
Yeah.
Puck.
Yeah, his restaurants are great. His acting's even better.
He has, like, a joke where it's like, remember that summer where we were under the table? And I'm like, oh, that was not a good joke.
And the snares I'm hitting are the
money drums?
Money drums. Yeah.
So the humor wasn't there at all. You're correct, but there was so much charm in it for someone who loved Ghostbusters.
I'm not saying it's not funny in the sense that, like, it's trying and failing. I'm saying it's not funny in that it's not really trying to go for humor here. I think
it isn't. No, you're right. Yeah. You're totally right, and that's why that official synopsis was so spot on.
Thank you, Sony.
You're welcome. Yeah, but I liked this a lot. It's a teaser, right? I mean, they don't talk about plot at all. It's just
not
inciting.
Really, no.
Incident of finding stuff.
Yeah, more or less. Yeah.
And they didn't market it as a teaser, but it kind of is.
It really does play as a teaser because you would expect there to be more ghosts in Ghostbusters, but there are very few ghosts in Ghostbusters Afterlife.
I believe that in future trailers we'll be getting more.
Probably will.
We'll be getting more humor too. I think.
Okay.
I think anyway. I'd like to think with Paul Rudd at the moment. This for me is a need to see it, just because I love Ghostbusters so much. And I think this just visually looks so great. I'm also a massive Jason Reitman fan.
Yeah, and it is interesting. And that does add an interesting personal layer to this, too, because his father, Ivan Reitman, directed the first Ghostbusters movie.
Yep.
And so there is definitely this sense of, like, a kid going through their older relative, be it father or grandfather's toys, and finding all this stuff and, like, kind of playing with it and finding the wonder in that does kind of have, like, a personal connection to its creator. That's really neat.
That's cool, right? And again, that's like behind the scenes stuff, but
it is,
I still really like it a lot.
Yeah, at the same time, for me, I do like that on that realm of things, but on just like a core level, it's like we kind of have the setup of, the ground opens up, and like, even though we're in the middle of nowhere, we're getting these tectonic shifts and all that shit. I do think that I would like a little bit more of the actual ghost.
Time!
Fuck. Keep it going so we know how much to take away from Lynn. We're so sorry, bud. So, overall, for me, this is a need to see more. Okay. I am still definitely excited to see more. But that said, to get a little bit more of the ghosts and Ghostbusters, I think would be kind of neat. But the gun receipt was cool.
It was cool.
Yeah. All right, and how much are we taking away?
Another 18 seconds.
Another 18 seconds. All right, that's fair. Lynn can live with that.
Yeah.
I think. Yeah. Just a little under 2 minutes. We'll get it to over 2, though.
Yes, we will.
And we'll do that by freeing this guy. This is Free Guy. An NPC in a Grand Theft Auto-esque video game decides to stop getting shot at and escape. It's basically Westworld plus the Lego Movie. All right, James, what's going on?
See, I like how you said Lego Movie and Westworld. My mind went to, this is like a live-action Wreck-It Ralph.
Oh,
which made me, because yours, sure. when you describe it your way, I'm like, I don't like the sound of that. When you describe it my way, I'm like, that sounds fun.
I think I'm going more like Westworld and Lego Movie because those are effectively, quote unquote, the NPCs of that world.
Yes,
right?
The person who's not traditionally the hero, which it still works with Wreck-It Ralph, but he is not
he's the villain. In that world.
Yeah. So unless there's a big twist and Ryan Reynolds plays the villain,
not in the first movie at least. No.
So no, I really dug this trailer. I loved the Disney intellectual bullying at the front.
Oh, sure,
from the makers who brought you Mulan, Aladdin, Lion King twice. Great joke. I really liked the energy of this one. I find Ryan Reynolds just so wildly entertaining and funny. I'm not of the group that subscribes to he's only funny when he's doing like dirty Deadpool stuff. Because I don't feel that way. Have you seen Detective Pikachu?
I sure have. Yeah.
I don't see that as just like a PG version of Deadpool. He was playing a Pikachu.
I don't know. He felt a lot like a Ryan Reynolds to me. But we conduct season why, but season less later, sir. We don't have the time.
All I'm saying is that his humor in this, I thought was really solid, and it didn't remind me of Deadpool. It was a different style of humor.
I got Deadpool a lot in that beginning intellectual bullying joke.
Oh yeah, but sure.
But no, once his character came along. No, I felt like he was playing it kind of like Ryan Reynolds, but
he's just so pleasant and just nice.
Definitely far less confrontational.
Yes, yeah. So I really liked that. There was a couple things that didn't land, like the recreational drug line was just kind of like that. It felt forced.
Yeah.
The Glock in my pocket. No, it's two Glocks.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with that one, but I was
fine with it.
I think the pacing of it, thought it was a funnier joke than it really was. But yeah, I think the action looks interesting. The VFX look really fun and engaging, and I like how it switched to like third person view at times with Ryan Reynolds being like your POV character. Mm-hmm. So I thought this looked like a lot of fun. Again, like Ghostbusters, we don't really get a sense for what the story is going to be at large. He obviously meets up with some people who help him along the way, but we don't.
He does, but is he looking to get out of the game? And if so, how the fuck can he do that?
Yeah, is this like a Stranger Than Fiction scenario where like Walter Crick or something Crick, Will Ferrell needs to find the author who's writing his life to stop the death?
And is Taika Waititi playing that author, or is he an actual villain within the game?
It's possible. I read Taika Waititi as possibly like the game developer.
Same, yeah.
And so he's like the villain or the author.
Well, it's not explicit within the trailer itself, but yeah, that's how I'm taking it too, for sure.
But I thought it was interesting that it's like, the AI developed for this just, video game becomes a little self-aware, and they played fun with it, though. I liked it a lot, and this is a need to see it for me.
Okay, cool. For me, I think I'd like the concept explored a little bit more. I think right now it's just kind of the baseline of wouldn't it be crazy if an NPC broke out.
That's true. It does feel that way.
I also, the fact that another character comes and is like, here's the deal, man, you're in a video game and don't worry, I'm going to take care of everything and I'm going to be the one doing all of the shooting and shit, kind of lets that NPC character off the hook to actually have to do the majority of the crazy shit that he needs to do to get out.
Yeah.
But that said, I do find this charming in a way. I do think that the concept itself is pretty interesting. So I would be curious to see more, but as such, as of right now, this is a need to see more for me.
Need to see more? There you go. We're done. Pause. Yep. 32 seconds.
All right. And so...
Not as much as I wanted, Kevin. If I'm being totally honest.
Because again, we're taking all of this time, we're adding it up, and we're going to see how much time we're giving to Lin-Manuel Miranda's new film, Into the Heights. And bear in mind, directed by John M. Chu, director of Crazy Rich Asians, definitely, a person to watch in their own right, too.
Totally, yeah.
We have, on the dot, 2 minutes and 30 seconds to talk about this, my man.
Okay, well, I'm setting the timer for that, and we remind everyone what's at stake here. If we go over this...
We have to see a movie that James and I both gave a double never need to see to.
Yep,
the trailer.
Which we will decide at a later date, but that is the punishment.
We always throw a poll up on our social medias, our Facebook, our Twitter. Our intrepid social media correspondent, Jenny Hawks, helps us out a ton with that. So thank her while you're punishing the fuck out of us. Because Katz is in there, man.
Yeah, that's right. Katz is in there.
So, all right, man. Do you want to get up there? You want to get up in these heights?
Yeah, let's talk about In the Heights.
In the Heights, the story of a vibrant neighborhood that's light on their feet, following the ups and downs and the people within. It's good news for 95% of the population who couldn't afford to see Hamilton. All right. James, how do you feel about In the Heights?
Well, seeing as how I am in that 95% who has not been able to afford to see Hamilton.
A lot of people are in that 95%.
I knew this was a thing before Hamilton.
Yep.
Never seen it. Never seen Hamilton. So I've never really seen, like, Lin-Manuel's claim to fame stuff. So having seen this trailer, I just want to say hallelujah for a musical movie that embraces the musical part.
Yeah.
We talk about it nonstop on this podcast.
Yeah.
How musicals shy away from showing us
the music within the trailer.
Them singing on screen or dance numbers or anything like that. They shy away from it. And it's baffling to me. And this showed me, we're going to do it and you're going to love it. And guess what, Kevin? I loved it. This was so good.
It's so charming.
It's so great. It's like, it's so, I love the music. I love the dancing. I love the acting. It looked emotional. It looks like it'll be fun though too. Man, I don't have much to say about it in terms of plot, but the style, again, it's rad. like Wonder Woman.
Sure.
I dig it a lot.
Yeah, I do. I really appreciate the charm here because this is so fucking charming and it just seems so pleasant and fun. From a story perspective, what's there? I mean, it's just kind of a story about these people within this neighborhood and that in of itself and just kind of seeing how this community thrives together.
Yep.
Them singing, dancing, playing, all that stuff. It's so energetic and great. I mean, like, honestly, man, no. Like, my only major, like, note, I guess, is, like, we see people, like, all kind of doing a big choreographed dance number in the street. Later in the trailer, we see another big choreographed dance number in the street. And I'm like, it kind of double dips a bit. But that is nitpicking as fuck.
Yeah.
Like, for the most part, no. I'm completely bewitched by this.
Especially if it's, like, if they're still early days and stuff. Like, they might be,
James, we only have 3 seconds. We only have 3 seconds.
I just really wanted to. Oh no!
No!
I'm so sorry.
It's okay.
Okay.
It's okay.
Well, can I finish my thought, though?
You can absolutely finish your thought, man.
Okay. If it's still early days in editing it, maybe that was the only, like, big dance number that they felt was in a spot that they could really show it off.
Yes.
I really wanted to get that out, and the closer it got to zero,
the
more
harder
I
it was
stumbled.
to get it out.
Oh my god,
yeah.
It was horrible. I'm so sorry.
It's okay, man.
We failed.
We sure did. We should rate.
Not by much, though. Really, not by much. It was only like we were.
Well,
only
we still have to give ratings. So what?
Need to see.
Need to see too. Hey!
Double need to see.
We did it.
Wonderful. Cheers.
Yeah. All right.
So I think we only went over like 15 seconds.
Yeah, but 15 seconds is still over, baby.
I know.
Shit. All right. Well, keep an eye out on those social media accounts, folks. You will see us polling you. And you will see us talk about a trailer that we both gave a double never need to see to. We will see that movie. We will report back to you. Whether or not Jenny Hawks is brave enough to join us on a Katz venture or not will be up to her, hopefully.
if that is what gets voted.
Yes. That does it. We have made it across country. We have done the proverbial planes, trains, and automobiles trip all the way across the country. You just found out I don't have a family and you've invited me in. Thank you very much, James. I appreciate that. Thank you for taking me on this journey.
You're welcome. I wish I had a Planes, Trains, and Automobile quote in mind that I could just jump to, but I got
guess
nothing.
You're fucked.
Nailed it.
It was a bit too niche, but like I'm glad that
ended
up hitting.
That was amazing. No, I love that one.
Right,
oh boy. Oh boy, what?
All right.
Sorry.
All right. Well,
you want to just watch Police Racing Automobiles?
Yeah. If you want to get that queued up.
Okay.
Before we go, though, I just wanted to say thank you all for listening. If you want to listen to more of this podcast, you can do so on iTunes or Apple Music, whatever the hell it's called these days.
Yep.
You can find us there. You can rate us. You can review us. You can subscribe to us. Please do all of those things. That helps us find more listeners and gets more people to geek out about these movie trailers like we do.
We love the dialogue, man, the back and forth.
Definitely. Otherwise, if you're like, but I'm an Android user, good news, Stitcher, it's there. It's not being split in half like iTunes is, so flock over there. You'll find our entire catalog on that as well. Otherwise, if you're like, but I want to listen to you guys at work, and it's going to be real obvious if I have one of those apps up, good news, you can find us on YouTube. Just go ahead, search Trailer Hitch Podcast on YouTube. You'll be able to find all of our content on there.
That's right. Just plug some headphones in, minimize the window,
Yep.
and then pretend you're working, and you're fine.
Yeah. That's what we do in December within our industry. So you can find us on YouTube, and you can also subscribe to us there. You can also like all of those videos, find our entire catalog, and importantly, you can comment. And if you want us to read that out on the show, we will do so with your permission, of course. Now, if you want to comment further, but don't want to do that on YouTube, it's fine. You can find us on Facebook. Just search Trailer Hitch Podcast on Facebook. You'll be able to find us there. Links to other episodes. You can send us trailer requests. You can send us feedback. Did we fuck up some other esoteric historical fact in this episode? If so, hit us up and we'll apologize
Almost
for it later.
certainly we did.
Otherwise, you can find us on Twitter if you wanted to keep these missives to 280 characters. You can find us at Trailer Hitch Pod on there. Otherwise, if you wanted to take a picture with what you wanted to say, you could do that on Instagram. You can find us at Trailer Hitch Podcast on Instagram. Before we go, we would like to thank Danny Schmitz from Lost in a Name for the amazing intro song that you hear at the top of every episode. We would like to thank Rachel Ashley for the amazing cover art that you see on all of our various social medias and on our iTunes. You can find her work at Mighty Creations on Instagram. We would also like to thank Jenny Hawks, our Bad Movie and social media correspondent, for all of her sterling work week in and week out. And we would also like to thank Casey Clowers for the amazing outro song, which you will hear momentarily, unless James has something to add. Do you have anything to add?
Only another minute of talking about In the Heights.
Well,
tough.
I'm fucking here for it, man.
You can't mount holy sails without a sailor stitch, and you can't haul your stuff without a trailer hitch. Trailer hitch.
Pinky, you're so cute. I love you.
How long has Jenny been there for?
Oh,
I didn't hear her come in.
The whole episode.
I've just been playing with the dog.
Oh. Did you have any thoughts on In the Heights, Jenny?
Oh, no.
I don't think she watched that trailer yet.
I did not see that trailer yet.
Okay, how about James Bond?
I have not seen that trailer yet.
Okay, how about what else did we review? Black Widow.
I loved it.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
cool.
Nice.
Need
Yeah.
to see. Ding, ding, ding. No.
Okay,
I mean,
Ja-
not doubles.
James
No.
James and I were both at Need to See More's for it.
For
So
that.
I'm happy that you were...
I'll be there seeing it.
All right,
You
good.
guys can wait for my review.